M's on the side? Hell yeah.
Why you gotta be so nasty all the time, too?
All right.
What?
Okay. We should be.
I didn't log out and back in. Is that going to mess anything up, Saint? I just used the picture.
No,
you
you should
did
be
for me.
straight because
No.
since I came in through the link, you're set there.
Okay.
Yeah, it says Tara on yours now with your
Uh,
picture.
want to thank with hers. Okay, yeah. I want to thank everyone for coming. I know we love these conversations and we love having a great time, and this probably won't be a very fun conversation
No.
in the grand
Yeah,
scheme of this.
no.
But for everyone joining, we're here to talk about the new documentary that just dropped, Quiet on the Set, about all of the horrible and, in my opinion, avoidable abuse a lot of these Nickelodeon stars suffered growing up in show business. It's actually, I didn't watch a lot of these shows as it's being as old as I am or whatever, but to go back and see the kind of shit that they let air on TV,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What were the shows? The shows that came out were like iCarly.
It was.
It was in that era, right?
Yeah, the ones they focused on were the all that Amanda Bynes show because she was real big and getting that kind of started. Well, the Nickelodeon
I missed all that.
shows.
Yeah.
I missed those shows, like the All That from season whatever they talked about.
Ones and all. I didn't know anything. Like I've never
seen
a whole episode of iCarly. I knew that Ariana Grande was in the show, and I'm not gonna lie, there has been one clip I've seen over the years of Ariana Grande getting like sprayed with like water guns, but I didn't know where it was from. But by then she's a singer and talking about 34 plus 35. So at that point, I didn't kind of put two and two together.
It took me a minute,
it took me a minute to listen to that song before I even got what it was too. So
and
I'm an adult.
It's because we care more about the melody, not too much about the lyrics. That's how I am. I mean, but anyway.
But yeah, for just to start off, it was very, very insightful to see the I think am I the only parent here?
Yeah.
Right okay. So and this will be interesting as a parent and seeing what these kids were going through and seeing, for example, Drake Bell was one of the children who was abused while he was working for the Nickelodeon, and no one ever knew about it, whatever. But one of the shows that stuck, one of the part of the shows that stuck with me was his father warning everyone.
Oh yeah.
Nickelodeon, the people on set, even telling his wife, say, "Look, you're taking my son away from me, but please don't let him near this man." And for her mother to be like, "Oh yeah, you can have him on the weekends," is crazy to me because I can't have a mini panic attack. When my son goes out front, without knowing type shit. So let alone leaving him with strangers and one of the guys that was doing it was a guy that was in charge of walking the kids around the whole set.
Yeah.
Oh, the other guy
was inescapable. Yeah.
So I mean, I think I'm interested to hear from you guys how you guys feel, and I mean it's a crazy discussion to have because there's a multiple points I saw. I was like, you know what, I would have stopped right then, or I would have pulled that. I would have nipped that in the bud right then. It went on entirely too long, and we haven't even brushed on the sexism that was happening on the show.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. Yeah.
All from this weird dude with power.
I haven't finished the show, but like, did they cover like the animation scandals in the past, or at least the ones that kind of have come out since? Because like Nickelodeon kind of had this ingrained since at least we were kids. Saint, I mean, like if you look back to Ren and Stimpy, like the thing with Don Criscofalusi and him molesting them two girls, and then the SpongeBob animators and their whole little porno book that they drew, Post-it notes all over the. Like, if you guys are interested in that, Rebel Taxi and L Supersonic Q have videos where they kind of go over and show like the somewhat safe to work SpongeBob animation drawings that like have come out that were in this book that like the animators of SpongeBob, I guess, to keep themselves entertained, would draw pornographic little cells on Post-it notes and leave them around the office for each other, or people in tours to find. So like Nickelodeon's kind of had like this awful culture built around it for decades. So the fact that it bled over into the live action, and you had the people like Schneider and what was the other guy's name? The other dude.
Peck was the one that was the worst one, and I forgot the third guy's name.
Brian Peck,
John
Hansy.
Hansy, Hansy and Peck.
Yeah.
I mean, with a name like that, come on.
I can't discuss that either.
So the show never gets to like talking about the animation stuff from the 90s and the 2000s.
No.
It was just like this specific era that it covered.
I haven't seen or heard.
That's kind of funny because I would say that like say it was causality there. You know what I mean? It would show that there was kind of a whole culture of that type of behavior at that studio that predated like this predatory nature. Like they learned it from somewhere, and it came from
it will bleed over. But like I said, I haven't heard or seen one of that era of that animation. Anything you would think, like you said, but there.
This is the first time I'm hearing about the SpongeBob stuff. The Ren and Stimpy stuff I knew, but that I was told as a child that cartoon was for adults.
Yeah,
right.
And all these iCarly or whatever shows, that's what they were doing. You know, they're doing some kind of like adult jokes.
Well,
I was like, oh my gosh, like holy
how many times do you need to squirt something on a girl's face for someone to say something?
Right.
It's like the Doom Bucket.
Didn't they have her kind of do like a thing with the potato that kind of looked like?
They had her squeeze a potato for
juice. That was so weird.
Then they had her lay on her back and pour water all over herself, and this got aired all over TV. So many.
It sounds so strange just to say it.
You know, they're basically cum jokes, fucking sex jokes. Why in the hell is iCarly on her knees with water spraying out of a water fountain, her mouth wide open?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
How did that add to those scenes that they show every single time that when they, a few choice scenes that they showed, I can't think of anything in the show that could ever you could put that in and it fit.
Where it would relate to like a kid's joke.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
and the adults there, they would not say, they would not say anything. They would, and they will be punished, as they said.
Yeah.
And everybody around in that era at that time, that's how they did it. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just push them to the side. Like, okay, that's fine.
I mean,
they're okay with it. It was crazy.
A lot of those child actors' parents were totally fine. For example, the one mother, the handy dude, he literally sent this little girl a email of inappropriate email, and she said, I'm just gonna remove him from the set. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't say anything to anyone else about it. And
she didn't go to the cops. It's like, what the fuck?
A 9-year-old girl had to get molested for them to find evidence and then go back. She could have protected that little girl. She could have saved her from that, or anyone else he touched in between. He had like 300 souvenirs.
Yeah, that was really scary.
And at that era, everybody basically had the same mindset where it's okay for someone at higher power to say, don't worry about it. Yeah. They were okay with it. Now, no. But back in those days, it was like a mindset.
It's not just
it's okay.
No, that's all Hollywood. I mean,
At that time, that's how it was. And for the people that would say something, just like the mom, oh no, they were the outcasts. Hell no. What are you talking about?
But now troublemakers,
It's always been like a really, really high risk game, man. Like for people that come out, you know what I mean? Like there's ostracization. They hunt you down. There are like certain like organizations that will hound you and stalk you and stuff like that if you speak out. You know what I mean? Like,
gosh.
Yeah.
I say this with like the utmost sarcasm, but I like how in every episode it would show like Nickelodeon executives like pretty much like response or answer to like any of the allegations. Like we were trying our best to provide the most safe environment for these people. It's like, no, the fuck you weren't. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, seriously, get out of here.
After the show came out, Schneider posted on Twitter how he was like standing with Peck or Bell Drake, whichever one came out.
Drake Bell. Yeah.
They got at him.
And I like his little snippet that they put in the middle of one of the scenes was like Dan Snyder says that all of his skits and all of whatever were approved by writers and blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't think anyone but Dan saw these scripts until the day of.
No.
I can't imagine how they did.
And that's another thing. I don't know how shows work. And if you guys are you guys know best. I would expect there's like a writer's room, and then after the writer's room, all of the actors get together in one room and they sit together and they read lines. And someone says, "Oh yeah," and then they're gonna squirt this on your face. And then
no one saying it, right?
Yeah, like, no one says no. What? That's not cool. Ariana Grande is gonna do what? She's gonna squeeze a potato for juice? Why? Why would she do that? But and everyone's like, "Oh, that's great, Dan."
Well, see, the thing is with live shows, like the way that they tape those is that they do last minute add-ons like that. So it could be very probable that they did line readings where it didn't involve, and later on when they were recording, they came up and said, "Hey, like we thought it'd be best if you lay on the bed and dump water on yourself giggling." You know what I mean?
We thought it would be best, and that's exactly what said. Dan thinks it'd be cool if you tried to squeeze juice out of this potato and sound like an asshole.
Everybody would laugh. Of course they would.
Public execution needs to be like the end result for all these sick fucks, because that shit's just unsettling.
So I feel like everybody involved.
He could be.
Yeah, agreed.
The writing, the script could not have any of that in it. You know what I mean? And like it all could have been added like during recording, because that's how Hollywood film, all that is. Like you can look at the script and it'll be vastly different, and like even the finished script of most things will be vastly different from what you see on screen, because so much of it is just kind of improvised on the spot because that angle looks so much better. That's me talking positively, but there's also a lot of stuff that they will add on that it ends up being really kind of gross and cringe, like what we're talking about here. And yeah, I mean,
they found their loopholes into putting these in there then.
That's kind of how it sounds like they're kind of working their way around it with their wording, that like how Saint is saying like Schneider came out and said like those tweets in those particular terms. Like if you look at the script, he's probably right, but like that doesn't necessarily reflect what you see on the screen, because scripts aren't written.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I mean, also not for nothing. I mean, he was making millions for Nickelodeon with all these shows, right? So so to say that he probably didn't have carte blanche with like every executive or anybody higher up that had to approve these scripts, they were probably like, "Yeah, do whatever. You're making us so much money. Thank you, thank you."
Yeah. How many shows did he help create? Like a lot.
A lot. Yeah. Like he was pretty much their like main showrunner for years. All that popped off like it did. He was able to switch kids out of that and do that, and a lot of kids from all that, they started those other shows, and they just carried them on. But then you got to think about it like this: how many they show? 2 shows that he had to be removed from, the Amanda Bynes show and then the Sam and Cat show. But you know what they did? Just moved him to a fucking different show. Just moved him to a different area.
Oh yeah,
and just the crazy shit, like. And when it comes to the women that work with them, how is it funny to tell a story when you've been bent over and pretending to be sodomized? Like, how did anyone sit there and listen to him even try to goad this woman into doing that?
Yeah.
Like, and I get to a degree, the business was new and you're worried about, if I piss off Dan, because that was the saying, if I piss off Dan, I'll never work here.
Mm-hmm.
But then they went and found out this motherfucker was lying to him, splitting their salary when he should have, on top of fucking making them give him a massage and treating them like shit. Man, I would have nailed his ass to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna work for 16 weeks or 24 weeks, but we're gonna pay you like salary of like 15 or 16
right?
weeks.
That was insane. Completely insane. And I know they're probably so desperate to work in the industry that that they would do almost anything, and that's how it works. But
and Amanda Bynes, I really don't know what happened to her at all. I know she was famous for. I know she was famous. She got real famous. She was natural, like at being comedian.
The Britney Spears kind of route, she was.
She had a big meltdown.
Yeah,
for a while she did her drugs, her meltdowns, or whatever. She's now trying to get her life together. I see she posts on TikTok all the time now. She's been
Does she?
Jumping on a few podcasts I've seen that she's been on, but she looks completely
Good for
different.
her.
Because when she was a young girl, she was great. I mean, stand up. I was like, wow, she's natural. And then,
but I mean, they come back. Well, who is it? Lindsay Lohan. She's bouncing back. Well, she has
that's true.
What's it? Freaky Friday? It's getting remade or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
What?
So
really?
Again? It was a remake when she did it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Something.
Always comes back around.
Yeah.
It's not Sigourney Weaver. It's who was in the Halloween movie?
Jamie Lee Curtis. Right?
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah.
But with Sigourney Weaver, let's think about that.
I'm sorry. I get the. But no, like, so with the Man of Binds, she was a baby when all this was happening. So when she did all her healing and all of her going through whatever she's doing, people watch that too. And now she's just chilling, living her life. I think she has a boyfriend. She says, from her TikTok, she seems happy, but who knows how anyone is after this show aired. He had to bring all that stuff back in. Like, I know there were people, they were saying Drake Bell posted a damn post either yesterday or the day before telling people to leave Josh Peck alone.
Oh yeah, because those classified survival guide cast members were like kind of laughing, saying like, "Oh, none of that happened in our cast." Nobody was like, "Hey, we're coming for your holes." Like they made some like really bad.
Whoa!
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow,
I didn't hear that either.
So like a lot of people are kind of mad at the Ned's declassified cast because like
that whole cast is weird anyway. Weren't they a couple weeks ago going about how they used to just sit around and fuck each other the whole time?
Wait, what's that mean?
Ned's Classified. They do a podcast now, but one of their shows a couple weeks ago, the girl and the guy, the main guy, were talking about how they just sneak around and just fuck all the time on set.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like everybody hooked up with everybody, basically, is what they said. So,
but
what's it? Wait, what?
Yeah. But to be
what are we talking about?
Ned's Classified.
Ned's I never heard that before.
Me neither.
But for them to be child stars and say some awful shit like that's horrible.
Yeah, no. I've never really heard of them. I know of the show. I didn't know that. I haven't heard anything about them until like I heard that they were talking shit about the one guy and like the joke about like we're coming for your holes or whatever he said. I'm like, damn, like to go that far and do it.
I do know who else is under flack. So the Boy Meets World cast, Topanga. Ryder Strong. Will Friedle.
Friedle, yeah.
Well, Ryder Strong wrote a letter, right?
Him and
Will. Him and Will Friedle both did.
And so they a couple of days before the doc aired, they were saying their apologies, they were coerced, and this is one thing that Eldaya was saying. She's like, hey, look, that's bullshit. Y'all weren't coerced, they were grown men. He wrote this, and that's another thing that Drake said. He was like, I went to court and he had all these famous people on his side, on his side of the courtroom. Alan, fucking all these other people, like, holy shit!
That was so upsetting.
Wow. That was very, very upsetting.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that happened to Drake at all. When he came out in the episode, I was like, what the fuck?
I did not hear anything through my head of like all the child actors that I've seen, that I remember. I'm like, who could the fuck possibly bleed? And when it was him, I was like, that is crazy.
My middle brother, he loves that, what's it called? Drake and
Josh.
Yeah, he loves it. So I told him thinking, trying to tell him, hey, you might not want to watch it. But he already knew. He heard rumors. I was like, oh, I did not hear anything. Yeah. I didn't hear anything at all about it.
They had to keep it under wraps because the fact that the people he worked closely with found out when we did. Like, Josh Peck, he was on the show. So all that stuff happened right before, I guess, they did the Drake and Josh show. So he was able to, like, get past that. That dude got locked up, and he just went on, working. But still, like, to not know, because the shit that he said happened to him, and they showed the clips of what the guy was charged with.
Yeah, that was
to go back to work it, that shows a lot. But at the same time, and I know, Elle's probably shaking her head, too, like, that also caused Drake to do some dumb shit and do some pedo shit too, because he got caught up a couple years ago. What was it, a 15-year-old girl he was reaching out to and doing some shit like that? But I'm not sure what he got or whatever. I feel like you do anything with a child, you need to put your ass under the jail.
Yeah, and sorry, I had to put on my clinical hat for a second, because the first thing I thought was, I don't know if you guys are how familiar you are with the statistics, but once someone gets abused, they're at a higher likelihood to do it,
to turn around and abuse.
Yeah. So when he said that, when he had allegations too, I'm like, well, I'm not really surprised.
Isn't that what they're saying about Puff Daddy, right? Like, that's why he kind of abused all them people at Bad Boys, because like his producer made him like do that stuff.
I didn't hear about that, no, but that makes sense.
Oh, Puff Daddy.
He's a whole nother subject, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It just seemed relevant, like, because that's also popping up at the moment, all that Puff Daddy stuff. So
it's the cycle of abuse. It never ends.
It is, exactly. Yeah.
That's so do you guys feel, because of this documentary, outside of fucking the dickheads that over there at Ned's Unclassified talking about coming for each other's holes, you think any other child actresses and actors will
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it's going to start coming out now. Like
from Disney,
when this stuff happens, no one's safe. Like
bet you a bunch of Disney stories are going to come out from like all the kids from the opposite side, like whoever.
I bet so too.
Whoever was doing it's like they had their own range of shows too, like the Wizards of Waverly Place and all that, right?
And the Sweet Life one. Oh,
I didn't even know
Sweet Life one.
Me neither. Degrees of separation. I didn't even know Nickelodeon people were that close.
No, I didn't know that either.
But they apparently Disney don't. That's another thing. How are you a corporation like Disney and you're not doing background checks on someone?
It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you.
Convicted child. What the fuck? Like how?
I would say money. Money
dollar signs, man. Dollar signs.
That's got to be the only difference.
And it's crazy how ultimately how little someone costs to these people because they don't care. A couple $1,000s make you turn your head is crazy.
Yeah, you become a disposable person, basically.
The thing is, I don't know how much you guys pay attention to world news, but like a couple years ago, like in the UK, they found out like a lot of their top entertainers were all kind of kitty fiddlers and stuff, and like a lot got arrested and put away, like a majority of like their TV personalities. And I think it's just like
there was a big one. There was a big blonde guy that literally like they're Mr. Rogers or some shit.
Yeah.
He was the worst one.
Pops guy. Yeah. Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was crazy.
And I think that's just going to happen over here. Like a lot of people on TV and involved with TV are all going to kind of get called out because we had the exact same culture, because it was just nurtured and it was kind of an inside secret, and it was winked and nodded about, and people knew that like the stories that's how you had to get ahead in Hollywood. And we kind of joked about it, but I always knew it was true. I never thought it was a joke when people talked about it. Got ahead in Hollywood by giving head in Hollywood. Like that's
right.
I thought it's kind of cool that now people are finally paying for it, because it's not a good system in my opinion. It never probably was. And burn them all down.
I know they are. There's got to be a lot of people right now just fucking counting their days right now. Like they shooting them text messages out, those emails. Hey, how you doing? Just to test. It's coming. It just with each movement like this, with the Me Too movement, or when all the stuff happened with Bill Cosby, all those people started coming out and stuff like that. Like the floodgates are open now, because the minute I feel the world sees something that's okay to talk about, like right now it's okay to talk about the shit that happened to kids and when they were child actors. So all these other people are gonna come, but we also gonna see shit like with Drake, with Drake Bell, when they're perpetrators too that people don't know about it. Like all the time, it doesn't make any sense what some of these celebrities do with their fans. It is ridiculous.
Yeah,
like a Twitch star got banned. The Twitch guy got banned the other day because he was on Omegle and asked an 8th grader about having sex.
Oh my god!
Like what the fuck?
You start thinking, what are they thinking in their head when they start doing this shit? Like seriously. Like, you think before but whatever.
Well, especially when everything is forever on the internet. You can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and how vigilant people are against that stuff online right now. You're just begging to get yourself. It's like they want to get caught and they want to get busted. I think it's true what they say about some criminals, man. They really do just want that to get caught.
That limelight.
They're flashy about it because they want to get caught. Yeah.
That's the only way I could think about like even trying that now, because you got like all the people on YouTube that's what they do, is they sit there and wait for stories like that to come out and pounce on any kind of influencer being a pedo. Like there's huge economy online for that type of content.
Yep. It is absolutely, and so I'm not sure if anyone did any research or anything. So, but Dan Snyder at this point has not been arrested or charged with anything.
No,
where
he's
is he at right now?
In Hollywood, probably still. I mean, I think.
Well, they said he announced a comeback, but nothing's happened.
What the?
He was still working on shows, Juan, until recently. Like he was still working on shows. Yeah.
But they kicked him out of those other teen shows, the one that were not Nickelodeon, but the ones that were.
But it's not like he got fired. He got paid out of his contract. He got like $7 million to leave. It's like, okay, consequences, sure.
Right. He made Nickelodeon so much money. Like, it's all right. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's all about that money, man.
Fucking garbage people.
But yeah,
is, man.
I remember back when like they were just kind of going after him because he was too into feet. Like I've kind of watched the evolution. Like more and more coming out about him, because like it first came out like he was still like working on all those shows, and people were like teasing him because like he'd always have them girls running around with no shoes on, and then he'd always like be doing like close-ups of their feet and stuff, and like that was kind of the. And that's what started people looking at him. And then more and more of this came out. And like, it's been an interesting evolution over the years, just watching. Because like, I guess, like if you start with the feet and just go further, like, I guess that was just, big red.
I feel like they start with feet. There's always something wrong with them. But
exactly.
I'm not shaming anyone to each their own, but.
I know.
If you don't let people know that's what you're into, and they catch you fucking taking pictures of people's feet, that's the issue.
That's when it gets wrong.
It's different when JP likes feet, but JP likes taking pictures of people's feet.
Right.
Well, he wants little girls to run around with no shoes on.
So creepy.
This is so liking feet and doing that. You know what I mean? You can have a fun. But like, you don't have to have a pedophile.
My skin crawled every single time I saw any kind of like clip or picture. He was just too comfortable and too close to these little bitty girls.
Yes.
Man. Mm-hmm. The hot tub thing, weird as fuck.
Oh yes.
Oh,
weird. Yeah. Amongst all everything else being weird as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Grown. It's just a lot of grown men. They kind of made it known that there wasn't a lot of women handling this stuff, whatever. And then at the same time, the women who were there, they got bullied and the same thing happened to them. But everybody involved, all those writers that's in this fucking shit, letting Dan do all the stuff that didn't say anything, all the producers that lined their pockets, all the advertisers, all these people, managers, families, all these people were there watching this shit go on. Everyone's fucking looking up at the fucking ceiling because you just got to get through this line and they'll get away from Dan or Handy or Brian Peck, and that check will come eventually.
Right.
That's sad, because that's what it all came down with, the money. Even the kids are always saying, I'm hoping to get this money to get my family out of their head.
Yeah.
I was like, man, these poor kids. I was like, they're dispensable. Basically, get the other kid in.
I'll tell you what the next big backlash for this is going to be, and it's going to be kids from reality TV shows, man. It's going to be all them.
I bet you're right about that.
Oh, man. What is, so I think it was me, Tara?
The family one?
Elle and Tara, we watched the Johnny K +8. Their kids are going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
talk to each other. There's another sister wife child.
Yeah, their kids.
He recently committed suicide.
Yeah,
like,
oh my God.
These reality star kids TV, they're going through shit too, because all that shit mostly staged.
And it's all complicated for entertainment. Like it's up there as bad or worse than this Nickelodeon shit, in my opinion. So I think that'll be probably like after like it reaps through like the regular kids shows. I think like you're gonna be hearing from like Honey Boo Boo and like
and they were cheap,
the
not cheap
skins or whatever the hell the other shows are called with all the different the Mormon kids and all that got tortured.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh wow.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah,
no.
that,
Yeah.
There's so much.
I didn't know
well,
that.
that was just a TikTok. I mean,
What?
there was a Mormon family who were like locking their kids in like cages and shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
People are
I didn't
fucking
know that.
awful. That one thing this documentary showed is just people are fucking awful. Whether they got a whole lot of money or they don't at all, fucking people are fucking horrible sometimes.
And they'll do anything to be famous or to like for that money but that clout, man. Like there's
the thing that pissed me off about the whole show was that one was Brandy's mom. Brandy's mom literally was seeing dollar signs. Like to be perfectly honest, a lot of this shit, a lot of these accusations, they were all kind of maybe did I see what I really saw? And people justified it. Not a fucking picture of a grown man's fucking hand on dick in my daughter's email. That is not something you can I'm just gonna remove from that set.
No, and then she was like, "Well, I didn't go to the police because I felt embarrassed because I put my daughter in that situation." It's like, yeah, you should feel fucking embarrassed. Yeah. Like what is wrong with you? But you need to go to the police.
You should have been embarrassed seeing your ass on fucking live TV telling everybody how much of a horrible fucking parent you are.
Yeah, seriously.
Embarrass you. I hope they fire
it that money.
She went to work the next day.
Yeah.
I always wonder what happened to Brandy too, because I was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah, that's what I kept wondering too."
Yeah,
she must be estranged.
The one girl the 9-year-old that started the whole thing with Handy, they didn't show too much about it, but they mentioned the Cousin Skeeter show. And like that's one that I remember watching with like my young nieces and nephews just being on. So, but she was 9 on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one before.
Cousin Skeeter was this. You ever seen you guys ever seen One-on-One? Flex Robinson, Kyra Pratt.
Nope.
No.
Father daughter.
No.
You guys, this is. You guys know the one light skinned kid who was in all the shows we were growing up with.
Now I see him, and now I remember him. Yes.
Okay, so Marnez or something like that. Okay, but Cousin Skeeter was basically his show, and Cousin Skeeter was a fucking puppet that talked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it,
I was seeing a redneck. You know what I mean? That's my cousin Skeeter. Like a white dude with red hair. Cousin Skeeter.
I was just thinking the show Doug. Skeeter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Oh yeah. That I would take a remake of that, a reboot of that.
Doug, yeah, with the beats, man, that band. That's on Nickelodeon, right? That's on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that was a Nick show.
Yeah.
Those were the good times right there.
See, my childhood was pure on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I was at the one before Drake and Josh and all that.
Yeah, I'm like Pete and Pete and
your
shorts.
Yeah.
Start.
Yes. So we were good. I mean, we don't know we were good actually.
But at the same time, we don't know what those kids are going through.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Then,
they probably got stories. Then. Yeah, they'll probably
even worse than.
I wonder what's up Pete and Pete right now.
Yeah.
They probably started a podcast.
Probably. We'll have to find it.
You laugh. The Brotherly Love, the Lawrence brothers, all three of them. Andy, whatever, all three of them. They got a podcast. Brotherly. It's called the Brotherly Love Podcast.
I've never listened to that.
I love them on Instagram. They're so funny.
The Lawrence brothers. They sound familiar.
Said, Matthew, the middle one, he said just recently that he lost a bunch of fucking stuff because he wouldn't fucking suck people's dicks. He was like, he said, I think he was the one that said, he was told to go to this hotel. There's a producer there and told him to take off his clothes and shit. And I'm like, fuck that. Yeah, he just left.
Yeah,
wait, Johnny, what were you gonna say?
I'll remind you who Joey Lawrence is. Oh wow!
Yeah, that's right.
What the hell?
Whoa! Plus, the one Lawrence brother was on. He was on Boy Meets World for a minute.
Oh, the middle one, right?
Yeah,
the middle one.
Yeah,
Matthew Lawrence. Yeah. He was Will Friedel's roommate for a hot minute there on the show.
That's right. In college. Oh, that's right. Aren't they all singers too? Everybody sang back then, though.
Did they?
I know Joey sang.
I thought it was
he had a bunch of cut off denim.
I was singing Joey. Yeah, I was singing that too.
Or the Hanson brothers.
There were a lot of those.
Man, you know what? That's another thing. We already know what the music industry is like. I can only imagine what the child singers and stuff went through.
They did behind the music. That was a little bit more.
I missed that show.
Oh,
me too.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a docuseries about Puff Daddy. Like, I bet you one's coming out about that fool.
Oh, they're going to
are you kidding me? Netflix is already filming. I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It takes like it takes around 6 or 8 months to do a docuseries. I mean, around there or a year. Yeah, right. Because
it's been what 2 or 3 months since Cassie won her lawsuit against him. Yeah, Cassie was the one that started the Puff Daddy stuff. She sued him.
Yeah.
He was, had all the things documented, all the shit she was doing. He was pimp her out to other people, watching people have sex with her and shit like that, beating her. Crazy. And she got paid. Like he came out with this is all this is all false, blah, blah, blah. But then 24 hours later, he settled out of court.
Mm-hmm.
You settled out of court, you did something wrong.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of allegations, man. There's people saying stuff about what he did to Usher, all kinds of shit. Like, I don't know or not.
What are they alleging?
That's supposed to be like because he came up with a producer that demanded certain types of favors from him. That like he kind of did the same thing to a lot of the talent under him. So like not just the females, the males would have to pleasure him.
Oh my!
Oh, Puff Daddy. Why would you do that to Usher? Oh, no.
Puff Daddy.
Was Puff Daddy involved in all the
we need to sample that.
the B2K stuff?
We're live, right? Okay, we can play
Did he do what?
I'm not sure if Puff Daddy was involved in this, but like music industry stuff, the B2K stuff, those members of that, Raz B, like he was telling stories about how producers was making other child or other artists, molest other child artists, like Marcus Houston.
What?
Mark. There's a lawsuit. Well, not even lawsuit. That story. It was a very young.
Is that what happened to Marcus Houston?
Music star. The producer made Marcus Houston assault him.
Goodness.
Just because.
Just because he could.
Just a power thing. Or
like a humiliation thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the price of fame is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their level of what they do, what the fuck they can do, whatever, it's another world, honestly. Like
it is. It's like another planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like once you get to that certain level of money wise and social whatever. That's what's scary, It's like
what's scary. Didn't they there's a thing going around on Twitter about that either boxer or UFC fighter talking about that secret like society, secret garden, or there's a secret area or whatever that pedophiles and rich people go.
What?
Oh,
like
I wouldn't be surprised.
Are you talking about Bohemian Grove, where like they go
something?
Yes.
You know what that is?
Yeah. Okay. There's an animated show on Netflix called Inside Job, and it's called what's it called, Johnny? Something Grove.
Bohemian Grove.
That's the one. So on this show, watch it as Saint. It talk about conspiracies and all that, and that Grove one is on there. But there's so many. Because trust me, you're gonna fucking love it because everything you talk about conspiracy, it's on that show. But that Grove is on that show. Yeah.
But the Grove is supposed to be this place where all the world's richest and most fucking perverted, they go there and the people bring them kids or women or whatever they want, and just all kinds of fucking shit. And this fighter was exposing it in like videos and stuff like that. And oh man, it's fucking crazy. Illuminati and all that shit.
That's on the show too. The Illuminati went to that. Oh my god. I thought it was just a joke, but I never went to digging into it.
Oh no, I mean like there's a lot of stuff involved in that. I mean like there's some truth to it. There's a lot of fucking whack job. Like QAnon's based on that stuff too, Juan. You don't want to fall you don't want to believe in too much of it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know what is truth, but
like I believe that there's a lot of creepy people, and I know a lot of them know each other, but I don't think that it like involves lizard people and like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But that Grove one, that one now I'm more curious to.
Oh, it's weird. Like they get together, they do a fake human sacrifice at it. Like there's like this big stone owl in the middle of it that they kind of like
yes. Yeah, and they show they have like a hunger type of games, but it's funny. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go back and watch it. But yeah, it's funny though.
It's funny they actually used the real name because usually, like, I figured they'd get sued because, like, I guess.
Oh.
Well, up until recently, like Alex Jones did a couple of documentaries on it before he became completely insane. Like back
isn't he on trial? Going to trial or some shit like that?
I saw a bunch of Alex Jones Warhammer memes. They were so fucking funny.
So I mean, that's the level we're talking about when we're talking about Bohemian Grove. So like,
okay,
wow,
yeah, but you know, people swear it's a place.
Hey,
it's like,
hey, a wrong clock is right twice a day. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So, I know about back to the documentary. I know that was 41 people they say wrote letters in support or whatever.
Oh, it's that Donnie Pate guy,
Alan Thicke.
What
a bunch of other famous people back then. And then one lady, I like that one lady was like, I had no idea the backstory before I wrote this letter. And I'm like, bitch,
then why are you writing it?
Then why did you write it? Yeah.
She's full of shit. She's pulling an Ashton Kutcher, man.
Because someone was in jail and you said, sure, here you go. Let me go ahead and fucking write this now. And to find out later he's a pedophile. No, you all knew.
Yeah.
Oh, man. These people, that frustrates me so much.
Like devil's advocate, I could see you being like, oh no, not my friend. My friend would never be a pedophile. I would never associate with a pedophile.
That is true.
Right.
Like, someone came out like
I get it, but it's like at the same point, you could believe that for yourself, but to turn around and say like this is lies and then victim blame and all this other shit, that's a whole nother level of asshole.
Yeah.
Look at whose name Saint said. He said Alan Thicke. Look at who Alan Thicke's son is. Like I'm not sure that guy was involved in some shady shit when he was a Hollywood star, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alan Thicke, dude. Come on. Like, like that. Those letters should throw him further into jail. You know what I mean? Alan Thicke, this guy. Let's lock him even deeper.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm looking at it.
I'm interested to see, again, like JP said, it doesn't take long for a doc, even a YouTube one, and you know we got all these TikTokers or whatever. They're gonna splice all this information together. So eventually, I think more names are gonna come out. I'm hoping, you know, these kids or you know they're adults now. They know that they can tell their story and get these motherfuckers locked up. Like.
I wonder if you ever really feel safe after a betrayal like that, though.
I'm the same way. I feel the same way. Like I'm worried for them too to feel like, hey, look, I've been quiet this long. Let me just stay quiet.
Yeah, because you don't want to blow your own life up either.
Hey, Saint, I wouldn't hold my breath, man. If they do anything, it'll be kind of a hollow gesture like they did with Weinstein. They might send Schneider up because he's the most public, but like the rest of them, like they'll sacrifice one of them.
Exactly.
He has to know. Since his
That's
name
a good point,
Center,
Johnny.
he has to know they need to get him on something or we won't be satisfied.
Yeah, he's the Weinstein. He's going up, but
he is the Weinstein.
For Nickelodeon, who's for Disney then?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How's that going to break?
Who is the Disney one? Who's going to be the scapegoat for Disney when they come out?
What happened at Disney?
I don't know, man, because I haven't really heard anything about their shows. You know what I mean? I was just speculating that, like, we'll probably hear something about coming out of there because they had similar type of kid shows, which I'm thinking a similar type of, because I think they would probably be bouncing talent back and forth. I bet you, like, people would go from
they did a lot of crossovers
to another.
Too.
Yeah. So I'm thinking. Like I was just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if stuff like that came out of Disney. I would know who would say what about who, though. I can't even begin to speculate on that. But like I'd say maybe Bob Iger because he was in charge of Disney at that time. But
most of the time at that time, You would think because, and he's a good guy, kind of bit in the interviews that he does.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just saying. I'm just saying. Bob Iger, he looks good at being at faking it.
But
Really good.
I would say it'd probably be closer to whoever was running the shows in their little in-house Disney Channel studios. Like Bob Iger runs Disney as a whole. I don't think he had fuck all to do with them shows. Besides,
no, he definitely wasn't a showrunner. I don't know who they were using.
What's his name? That Toy Story guy. When those stories came out about him, he was the main guy for Pixar.
What happened in Toy Story?
What's his name? Daniel Lasseter? John Lasseter. They came out with stuff that he was assaulting women.
Wow.
Not assaulting, but verbally
abusive.
Not abusing, but verbally saying stuff to workers.
Sexually harassing them?
Yeah, sexually harassing them on the down low. And he had to take a step back.
You know how
John Lasseter.
Something's wrong with them. You can look
they
at John
put him
Lasseter.
They put him in sensitivity training. He's probably back at
I think he is back at his role. So look, top guy from Pixar. Like, God damn.
And so what does that show people? Oh, we'll get rid of again with Dan. He wasn't allowed to be on set, but he still got checks cashed. He still sent in scripts and he still did all this other stuff. This John Lasseter, he gets sensitivity training. He's back at work. Like I was so pissed.
It's like the priests in Catholic churches. They were sent off, and they had that freaking journal. Not journal, but the account of what priests were sent away. Remember? But that's how it is. That's how it is in every fucking system.
Yeah, just move.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like pedophiles are going to be drawn to organizations of all types that have to do with kids. So it's like, as
the Boy Scouts too. There you go. Mm-hmm.
If I was a parent, I would be a little edgy about putting my kid on a TV set, because who's volunteering to work with these children? That's where my mind goes. I don't know.
Sad, but
at that time we had already had like Drew Barrymore, Danny Bonaducci, like several stories about
the Coreys.
The Coreys, Leonardo's. He was wild. Phoenix, River Phoenix.
Yeah, River Phoenix.
Robert Downey Jr. He was a bad one when they were
kids
that's
true.
Too.
Yeah.
So I mean, this shows like Quiet on the Set show that like show business Hollywood, it fucking does something to your fucking psyche. These people,
the nasty world.
It's a particular kind of crucible.
How many comebacks do people need? How many rehabs and
kids' television's kind of always been predatory and evil. I mean, even if you go back to Little Rascals and see what happened to those poor little kids, man. Like,
I don't want to.
You don't want to. It'll ruin your night, buddy. Like. But I mean, like I haven't even heard stories of them actually being abused by the producers. I'm just talking about like the short lives that they lived as people on Earth. You know what I mean? Like,
that made Judy Garland pop into my head when you said that too.
Yeah,
and you can what's her name? Shirley Temple, as awful as of a person as she was treated really poorly as a kid. Mickey Rooney, it started all the way back in the day with Hollywood, and then like you can go to Disney in the '60s with Annette Bonicello and Frankie
Avalon.
They talked about being kind of mistreated and how
and the grooming
allowed to even wear a bikini. You know what I mean? They like really restricted her life in general, and which makes me think that like I don't even know what kind of abuse would happen with how looked after she supposedly was with her image, and like her producers always on board with her. So like kids, I think that this has been a long time coming, and it's an industry that's been wrought with just disgusting behavior. Like, look at the Harry Potter movies are another thing. Like, the kids came out and talked about those when they were being filmed. That like Daniel Radcliffe and them were treated horribly by like the directors and even some of the
what?
Where have I been? I didn't hear that either.
I did.
Don't ruin my life, Johnny.
No, wait. I'm an adult. I'm gonna go look this myself. Thank you, Johnny.
No, go ahead.
Harry Potter Mistreated.
So I mean, like, you look at kids entertainment and it's kind of always been that way. Like, the only people that I never hear talking out about it are people like the guys in Blue's Clues, like the adults that just made shit content for kids. I don't ever hear about them talking about being abused. But like, if you ever hear like actual children involved in kids entertainment, it's always like really sad and terrible. Like, even the little girl from the Cosby Show, what, Lisa Bonet, like, you hear like she became a drug addict, and like she's opened up and talked about, and it wasn't even Bill. She said Bill was lovely to her. It was other people involved in for the production that, and like, so you just look throughout the history of like the format, and it's been pedophile heaven, I think, for the longest time. And it's I think it needs to be swept clean, and I really hope it does, man. But like, I think, because there's been a lot of eyes on this Nickelodeon situation for a while. Like, people on YouTube have been talking about this for years. Like I said, that's how I'm so up on it, because there's certain people I watch that have like made some really interesting videos, and I really, really hope that like they make more of these. You know what I mean? I hope that it's not just a one and done season, because like I said, they can make a prequel, go back and talk about Nickelodeon in the 90s. They can talk about Disney in the 60s with the Frankie Avalon and Ned Funicello, or Disney, like, because Britney and those kids, I'm pretty sure some of them are probably from that class, came out pretty screwed up. I know Justin like seems okay, but like he's probably hiding it.
Yeah.
I know Britney's probably got some stories. She's been kind of tight-lipped about that particular point in her life, but I bet you she's got stories, man. I guarantee.
Oh yeah. Or the Disney Playhouse, Disney Club.
They'll be great branching this off
Mickey
to
Mouse
more
Club.
seasons.
Mickey Mouse Club,
they have
that's what it was.
Yeah. Hopefully they do that. That'd be great. That would be great.
Don't take the spotlight off of this. You know what I mean? Keep people.
That's them pushing. Yeah.
Because that's the problem, is like they kind of bring these stories up and then they let them die, and people will forget about it, especially on an election year. So like, dude, don't shut up about this, man.
Yeah.
Please make more of these shows. You know what I mean? Especially if it's really good, reliable information, and like you're actually spreading like a real spotlight on a real situation, because there is tons of them. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Keep because it really needs to get cleaned up, because like I said, man.
This one hit the news fast. This show hit the news fast, because I went on like, holy shit, it's everywhere. It was like, that's great.
Elle mentioned it one day, and then I saw it everywhere.
Yeah. So if you get that, just keep going with it. Just like Johnny said, great. Just keep the momentum going.
Well, you hope it's going to be like the Me Too movement, where it just keeps going and it doesn't stop.
Yeah, and these are for kids. That's the thing. You would think like this would go a little bit quicker, No.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because then the adults responsible for the kids have to take their
responsibility.
That's the hard part. That's
the hard responsibility. I swear, if they take a couple of these motherfuckers and make an example out of them, because everybody involved needs to go to jail. The parents that let that happen and ignored it, the people on set that I get to a degree being scared to say something about your job or whatever, but if you all say something about the one problem, then that one problem, Dan Snyder can't be the only one that can write a funny kid show without fucking it being sexual.
Yeah, there's got to be another way besides having, what was it, Pickle Boy?
Oh my
God.
It was a fucking glory hole.
I know. I could not believe that clip when they put the pickle through the glory.
But with Ray Romano, I'm like, this is for children.
Yeah, Ray Romano will fucking say something too. He has power. At that age, he had power to say, hey man, I don't feel right doing this.
I don't feel
on
right
the show.
Just shoving a pickle through a glory hole and I have to fucking bite it.
The money.
Yeah, no.
Why is
but they fucking wanted the money though. So Ray Romano, okay,
Ray Romano was rich at the time. You mean to tell me he needed the money to eat a fucking pickle through a glory hole? I don't think so.
It was his idea, all right? Like, I
didn't do that. I can.
You have a guy walking around with pickles, fucking phallic object.
Yeah. My eyes rolled.
It'll be funny. It was like, look, why adult doing that on a kid show? I guess I won't understand a kid with pickles, but why an adult? You know?
Or why not have someone fucking from catering say, "Hey, if you guys want pickles, they're on the fucking table with the donuts."
Right.
Or the dick nose thing with the jizz.
Oh
my God,
that is so fucking sad. Poor kids.
Like I'd seen that in a Garth Ennis comic book, and that's fine in a Garth Ennis comic book, but like Garth Ennis comic book should not be on kids' television. You know?
Yeah,
right.
Even the kid, like poor kid, like at the time he didn't know for sure, but now he's seeing it, he's like, that's not right.
That's why I feel so bad.
Yeah, that discomfort that you can't really
he
express.
Probably had no idea. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like all these kids, like they're all saying, like as an adult now, in hindsight. So it's like it's hitting them slowly, and I feel like it's like you just know they're getting smacked with trauma every day, and it's like,
and what
as adults,
all those adults making those jokes, like, what the fuck is wrong with them? What the like? There's like, what's wrong up here with them? Like, let's make these jokes for these kids can go ahead. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? All of them. Because I don't know, it's just whatever. That's just fucking weird.
Well, and I can't help but think about, like, again, not to put on my clinical nerd hat for a minute, but the whole idea of what people that do that kind of stuff, what people that are sex offenders. Well, first of all, I didn't even know. Did you guys know there's a difference between a sex offender and a pedophile? I didn't find that out until I was an adult.
I thought they were the same.
I did not know that.
John, you said, right? Because one is opportunistic, and the other
and
is
one is predatory.
Exactly.
You can get put on the sex offenders list for streaking, for involuntarily showing yourself, like not purposefully meaning to showing yourself to a young person, but it happens.
Oh, that's the people getting that for like pissing near a school or something.
And then there's also you can be a sex offender if you're a rapist or like other kinds of sexual offenses that you can perpetrate that will land you on the sex offenders list, to where you can you'll be on there for a certain amount of years, and then you can get yourself petitioned to be taken off eventually. Usually if you're a straight up pedophile, you're like on there forever.
I think nowadays when I hear sex offender, I think rapist, pedophile.
Yeah, put them on that.
And they're not synonymous. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and like I knew a guy that was on the list because like he pissed in a park at 1 a.m. and the cops caught him, but there was like literally nobody there. But so like he had to go on the list for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Because it was at a park. You know what I mean? But like he was walking home kind of drunk, and he just stopped and peed, and like. Ended up on the list, but
that's crazy.
So like there are exceptions like that kind of like if I hear sex offender, I'm like, well, what did they do? And if it's
true,
okay,
got it, okay,
yeah. My mind will start thinking, what did you say? All right.
If it's
but anyways,
beyond something innocent, then dude, they're on the same level as I have a very low threshold.
Have you guys ever looked at the map near you?
The what?
I don't even. I have so many red dots. It's horrifying.
Yeah. I don't want to. What's that map at? What were we talking about before all this, Tara? You were saying something about something, and you told us something that what's the difference between those two and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that there's such a thing as having a sex offense because basically it's like the situation made you feel like you had to do something. I'm not saying I agree with these people. I'm saying that. As opposed to choosing a partner that's inappropriate repeatedly, which takes you to being a pedophile. Like there's so many people that are like the classic, I hate to say a porn trope, but like a step parent situation or something like that, where they'll say, well, I did it, but just because of this one situation. Like I'm not weird. I just did it in this one situation. And I just never thought about people going to those lengths to cover their asses like that. I have a friend that's a criminologist that told me about that. Yeah.
Like old dude's friend saying, I can only think that the reason he molested a child is because of just pure temptation. He couldn't
exactly. Temptation.
I fucking threw up in my mouth. That grown person said this.
Right?
He had to be tempted by a child.
By a 15-year-old boy. Give me a break.
Such victim blaming.
And all those people at those ages. Yeah, did you see that? Those people at those old whatever ages, they all said that. temptation.
They all said that, yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with like those?
I've known him 20 years and he's never done anything like this.
Oh, that's like really, you know, I'm really tempted. Like,
Right.
what the fuck is that? Like,
but it's like that you know of. He's not going to stand around the crafts table and talk about the boy that he molested the night before. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like they have their brains erased when they have this illness that makes them feel that way. They're clever. They can be clever.
They really think that the minute they done with it didn't happen. This shit's crazy.
Yeah. And they believe, it's like they believe themselves. So I don't know how you could even find all the people.
At least now it's getting a little bit better, you know. Now when they say that, temptation, like what the fuck? It's like that could have been, you know. But now it's like fuck that, no.
You can't say shit now. I got
which is good, you know. It's getting better, but not at a faster pace that we wanted to.
I just wonder what they're doing to stay undercover now. That's different.
That's the thing. Now all these pedophiles and everything now they have their own little fucking. We don't know what's going on. Now they have their own organization, even more better because of now all this coming out.
They got Discord surfers and chat rooms on Telegraph, from what I understand.
They're going even deeper. Don't worry.
They'll always find them. I mean, I feel like one way. I mean, we can't tell victims to speak up, but you know, the more people that speak up, the more people that expose these motherfuckers, the better it'll be, you know.
Well, I think that's why the big argument about like not having what do you call it when you cap the age that you can tell, like you can't sue somebody when you're an adult and tell them
statute of limitation.
There's so many laws and stuff like that
were put in place to say somebody fucked up.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that you really don't always know in real time, that you've been exploited until later. And then automatically you can't say anything if it's too much later.
Yeah. It's the telling you it's your fault law. Pretty much.
Yeah, basically that's what it should be called. Yeah. It's not really statute. It's your fault. Sorry.
Yeah.
And this was what these laws were put in place at the time when they knew.
Well, the thing is like they're saying because of overcrowding and population that they have to on certain non-violent crimes, what they call non-violent, like they
put a boot on them.
They cap the time period that you can have it conceived as you could probably still sue them if you can get a compelling case. You could take them to civil. That's why that lady was able to sue Trump.
That's true. The civil court is really different than criminal court. Yeah.
Why she couldn't get him busted for rape anymore because the statute had passed on that. So
she had to go for, was it libel? I can't remember exactly what she said.
Yeah, because he defamed. He talked shit about her in the court, so she was able to actually get over on him on that.
Now he's trying to flip that back on Stephanopoulos, I hear.
And then every state has their own laws and whatnot.
Yeah. Really.
See, that's a
slippery slope.
Whatever. But you know what I would think? I would have thought because of kids, we'll get this handled a little bit quicker, a little bit more. But no. But yeah, exactly. But no.
Yeah.
No.
We're expecting common sense, but you can't expect anything.
Because they can't. Because no one can protect them. And they don't know better. But they're easier to take advantage, and that's like that. It's just so sad.
It is sad. They don't even have language for what they're feeling yet. They just know something's weird.
Exactly. And then when they get older, they're like, oh, this is normal.
Right. Yeah. Or it's too late for you to talk now. Go sit down. Why didn't you say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when their parents are helping you with the gaslighting.
Yeah, I remember when that girl that kind of sparked this whole, I think, revolution of people talking about Nickelodeon, the McCready Girls book, I Hate My Mom, I'm Glad My Mom's Dead. And I was like, well, how dare her? And then I started hearing her stories, and I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe little girl's got a point. You know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah, it made me curious about I don't even know what all happened to her.
She was speaking out long before all of this. She was making a stand. She was not going to those award shows where everyone's fucking patting them on the back and shit.
When did this start happening, like, Donnie? At what year?
Last year, I think, is when she put her book out.
Yeah,
and
she put her book out last year.
Everybody was all. She'd been talking out for years beforehand, but she finally put her what's it called, biography out. It's called I'm Glad My Mom's Dead. And when it came out, there was a pretty big backlash about that name. People were like,
title like that.
Her mom put all those years into her career, and this is how they repay her. abstracts of the book started coming out, and like people started getting on her side, actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was kind of funny. Like, even though people kind of knew like Dan Schneider, and like there was still like that kind of backlash when her book came out.
Yeah, she called him the producer in the book and stuff
or
like
the
that.
creator or whatever.
The creator, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Everyone knew who it was.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't even really come after him, right?
No, she didn't.
No,
yeah, she did.
Oh, did she?
Well, she didn't name him, but she did.
She came after him with that, with that moniker. That was a good choice.
Yeah, good for her. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, I don't think that this series would have happened, or at least as expeditiously as it did, if she didn't come out with her book. Because I really do think that book really kicked it into the public consciousness because of that title, because the people were so jarred by like, oh, she is so disrespectful, and then they actually kind of found out about it, and they're just like, oh wow, you know what I mean? Like maybe she could have worded it a little nicer. That's not the way I'd have named my book, but like, you know, like more power to her, because she did kind of put like the spotlight on it.
Well, that's the thing. It got eyes on the book. You know?
Yeah,
right. That's true.
And on the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to give her credit for that, because if the public dialogue gets furthered, you know what I mean, then she did what she could. That was the only.
Before that, the only kind of thing I know that they were talking about Nickelodeon wise in the main stream was that Josh Bell and Greg Peck didn't like each other, or whatever their names were. Josh and Drake weren't friends, and why they weren't friends anymore. And like now you kind of know why they weren't friends anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense now.
Old dude was going through shit.
Yeah.
But he like I think I saw it right before we started the show, but apparently Josh Peck has reached out to Drake, and you do what people do. Like, I didn't know, blah 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 type shit. But the fact, and that goes to show you too how quickly the internet will go, because Drake has a checkered past when it comes to like certain stuff outside of what happened to him. With the drugs
he was chatting with youngsters himself, right?
But it goes to show you how quickly, all that's happening. But in this moment, quiet on the set, Drake Bell is the victim. So now no one fucks with Drake Bell, because the fact that he had to tell fans to leave someone alone is crazy.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, it really is.
Oh crazy. Yeah, well, and the fact that it's peers of theirs, it's not just internet trolls. It's actually fucking people that like you would think would have some kind of a moniker of compassion, because like I guess they were more fortunate in their producers, but like you know what I mean? Like you would think that they wouldn't be the type of guys that would go in on them. You know what I mean? Like, I'd expect like Leafy, or like what's that kid that people watch on Kick? Kaisenet or something. Like but
the shit they do is questionable too.
Yeah, or Aiden Ross. I could see like him being like, "Oh, bro," reading on his phone, like I can't, bro, like, and then being kind of like, "Man, I can't believe he reacted that way. He should have." But like actually having people from Ned's Declassified, people that they probably saw on a daily basis
and grew up with,
fucking making fun of the fact that he got at, man. Like fuck, like. I understand, and it's kind of like I didn't mean to bring that up in a negative. I just kind of goes back to what Tara said earlier about like the cycle kind of repeating. That kind of explains why Drake did what he did, right? I mean, a little bit. I'm not making excuses for him.
No, like, and it's not like it's telegraphed. If something happens to you, you don't automatically go hurt somebody else. But there's a higher incidence of people who have been hurt who then turn around and hurt other people.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that to look at in his case now too, to weigh in your judgment.
Yeah, it's hard not to give him some kind of grace for the fact that he couldn't help what happened to him. It's just crazy.
Before that, they had the documentary of the Nickelodeon, but the Orange years, the years with the Salute Your Shorts. They have a documentary about that. So if you want to cleanse your palate, you can watch that after or before.
Why is it happy years?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you want to first start off like that, go for it, and then go into the dark years. But
I like Saint was saying, man, like that was a sugar-coated documentary. Like we might get like stories that like they didn't want them to tell in that documentary coming up
unauthorized.
because
there it is.
I think Schneider was kind of working at Nickelodeon in some capacity with Salute Your Shorts. Like that's kind of when he came in. Right?
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Got his fingers and everything.
The big thing was,
Yuck.
was all that.
Yeah, yuck indeed, Phil.
But you got to think about that. Like, even that's a room full of writers. I know that he wasn't the only one writing jokes, so why was he the one?
But he had the power to nix the jokes, right?
Well, the thing is he was famous coming into it too, though. Like he was already like from that John Cusack movie, and like he already had like a kind of a popularity to him, Schneider.
So, which Cusack movie was it? Do you remember, Johnny?
Better Off Dead, right? He was.
I think so. Yeah,
that's what he was the creep. The creep that the foreign exchange student was afraid of, so she like went and hung out with Cusack, right?
Oh man!
Wow, already
explains a lot.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Christmas with the mom. Yeah. So he was already kind of a big name in Hollywood-ish, like in the comedy world. So like I think that's why he kind of got a little bit of a nudge when other writers didn't.
Okay.
But I think it also goes like to the Weinstein effect, where like, like one guy is horrible, but there's a whole bunch of men right underneath him doing the
like
same
Hydra.
Horrible behavior and
holding the status quo.
Hydra.
Yeah,
it is because
Hydra, that's true.
If you cut off one, more come out. Basically, that's how it is. I mean, just like the Trump administration, there's still so many of those little fuckers over there, that we have now helped out. Well, but anyways. But still,
No, but you got like one guy making these like horrible, disgusting jokes, and then you've got a whole bunch of other writers making horrible, disgusting jokes, and then the ones who don't agree with what's going on or see what's going on and say that it's disgusting, they don't say anything because because they're afraid of what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, to Cookie's point, like from what I understand, what Brad Renfro said about the parties that what's his name, the X-Men, Bryan Singer took him to, like that's how it was. Like it wasn't just Bryan Singer there. There was like everybody in Hollywood, like everybody that was popping was at that, and they kind of passed him around.
Yeah.
And again, not to be devil's advocate, but that had to be so overwhelming. Where would you even start? Do you know what I mean?
Well, at the time, people were saying, "How dare you, Brad Renfro? You're trying to burn down Hollywood." That's a whole.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's a whole economy of people that you're just trying to destroy out of your spite. And it's like, no, Bryan Singer bent this boy over with a bunch of his friends, and like they deserve to pay, man. Like,
yeah, it's just horrible. It's hard to get somebody to pay, especially when it takes getting past that time to even be able to speak about it.
Yeah.
Well, we need a palate cleanser.
This was the topic of the night, though. I mean, we had
it's a rough one. Yeah.
Like,
and I appreciate you guys being people that we could talk to like this too.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Does anyone have any like final thoughts on Quiet on the Set before we cleanse our palate?
Season 2 as soon as possible.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I feel like it's best to know more and also expose more. Expose more. That's most important.
Especially right now.
Yeah, I would like it on a different topic or a different time period. You know what I mean? That would be rad. But like if they do have a lot more to say about this, and like if like there are more people out of this time period that come out of different shows, then definitely talk more about this time period. You know what I mean?
Or if they decide, I was gonna say, or if they decide to like go try to see some reasoning behind all these, bigger name people that wrote letters on behalf of what's his name being like a good man and being innocent, and he would never do this. Like, go over that list and like reach out to these people to see if they would even put themselves in the public, to be on a show, or if they're like that embarrassed that they, were speaking on behalf of this man in his favor of being innocent. Like, that is some shit I would like to see.
Yeah, I would too, Phil. And there's no way that we even have words to express the level of shame that comes out at that point. So it's hard to say who would do it.
I mean, but then again, I mean, like it might just be like the Ashton Kutcher thing. They might just come out and be like, "Yeah, we didn't think you guys would know we did that, but sorry you found out." But like,
sorry you found out.
Yeah, that's what
love those apologies.
Ryder Strong and Will Friedle did. They got ahead of it, so they started posting their, we're sorry, we didn't know what the situation was. We were coerced into writing those letters.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. You probably got diddled too.
They're probably in on it, man.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Who else wrote it? Marsden. Has he? No, has Marsden come out and said anything?
Right. I was like, first one they named was him.
What happened to Marsden? I missed that.
No, he was the first name they mentioned. Yeah, he was the first name they mentioned.
Yes. You're right. I was like,
man. Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, I haven't heard him say anything.
It's like no one liked Cyclops to begin with, but now it's like confirmed that Cyclops is.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Just when I started thinking he was cool because of jury duty too.
I know.
Oh.
It's like you're the worst.
Well, I guess our palate cleanser might be next week's topic.
What's next week's topic?
Oh, yes,
it's a Beehive movie. I mean, Beehive.
The bee story.
Bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
I need to read it.
Man, how
we're gonna cleanse our palate with something dirty.
I'm reading that on my iPad, right? And my 10-year-old comes up. He's like, "What? What are you doing?" So normally he doesn't ask me like real questions. He just cares about getting on my computer. But he's like, "What are you doing?" So I'm reading this book. What's the book? So it's about bees. And he's like, "You just read a book about bees?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like the Bee movie, and I was like, "Kinda."
But not. Yeah.
It's by GM Ferry, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like
I've been walking around reading it on my phone secretly. So.
Oh.
It kind of reminds me more like if do you guys remember when Antonio Banderas was the cartoon bee in those
the Flonase or whatever it was.
I forgot about that.
Stop. Now you're gonna have to have.
I do not have any allergies.
Now I could read some bee porn if it's Antonio, you know what I mean?
Now I'm gonna have his voice whenever I'm gonna read this. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my god, thank you, Johnny. You just made this book so much better.
It'll be much better
with
his
his voice. I'm only gonna be able to hear that bee's voice in his
So we have to read it by next week, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
That is next week. Again, we appreciate everyone stopping by to join us, listen to us talk about very, very sensitive subjects.
Thank you all for doing this.
We are going to flip the script and talk about a very
silliness
sensitive subject.
I watch Candyman actually.
Thank you guys. Anyone want to do any shout outs for their project before we go?
It's how I. No.
All right, John.
Johnny, is there any shows coming up for you?
Yeah, tomorrow night we're gonna be on with Adrian, and we're gonna talk about
the Sitter.
Then we're gonna talk about the Netflix show, The Gentleman. We watched that.
That's
I was gonna ask how.
I thought that was Friday. Is it tomorrow?
It looks good.
Oh, you're talking about tomorrow?
It is on Friday, isn't?
Okay, good.
Friday?
Wait, what?
It's like, what day is it? I've been a day ahead.
I know. I'm a day ahead this week too.
It is. Oh, Jesus!
It feels like a Thursday. It's only Wednesday.
What?
I am terribly sorry, chaps. It is Wednesday on Friday.
When is it?
And we're going to be talking about The Gentleman, isn't it?
Well, hopefully,
tomorrow?
Hopefully that'll give us a chance to. No,
Friday.
day after tomorrow, Friday.
Yep.
Friday. Okay. I ain't got nothing on Friday.
Yes.
All right.
I haven't seen that show. I watched that show too.
Yeah, I need to try and sneak one of those in before Friday.
It's 8 episodes. I definitely give it a watch. You'll have to
look really good
on Friday though. So.
I love Richie. What's his name? Guy Ritchie stuff.
He actually worked on this show. He wrote and directed the first 3 episodes, I believe, or the first 2 for sure.
And count us in.
It's pretty good. It's very good. Enjoy it, man. If you like that kind of British crime drama, you know what I mean?
I do.
All right, I'm in for it.
Johnny, you always recommend this stuff, and that's always good. Shogun, holy shit. Yo, if y'all watching Shogun, if y'all not watching Shogun, y'all need to watch it.
Bro.
Much fucking better Game of Thrones.
Wait, can I just...
It's beautifully shot. It is
for comic relief, can I just tell you how hard it was for me to watch with the with all the subtitles, and I'm the one that has to read the subtitles to my mom. Yeah, nobody warned me.
I'm
so I'll be
sorry.
watching it alone later.
I'm sorry.
I was like, yeah, that
So
made it
fucking
hard
good.
in real time to be translating. But but yeah, it's really beautiful and lush, and I'm looking forward to getting back into that one too. You guys always have wonderful recommendations.
Yeah, that's when Johnny recommends him. Like, all right. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Johnny and Joey have not led me wrong, like even one time ever. So.
Me neither.
So on that note, I guess have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Join us again next week. We'll be doing a book club, and we'll be reading Bad Behavior.
Not that we're technically a book club, but yes, Bad Behavior is on the menu.
What same author as what was the other title of the swamp one?
Get in my swamp.
Get in my swamp. That's it.
And stay in my swamp.
Stay in
my swamp.
What's the third one?
There's another one with Winston. I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
We managed to skip one.
And